Shock. José Mourinho makes a fierce decision to expel Vinícius from the team. In a thunderous development causing an earthquake inside the corridors of Real Madrid and sparking a wave of controversy, anger, and confusion among the white fans around the world, the Spanish newspapers Marca and AS, both close to the Royal Club, have revealed that Portuguese coach José Mourinho, who is on the verge of officially taking over the technical leadership of the team, replacing Álvaro Arbeloa, has definitively and decisively informed the Royal Club's management, led by Florentino Perez, that he does not need the services of Brazilian star Vinícius Jr. in the coming period. This took place during a closed-door meeting held at Valdebebas Sports City yesterday evening. The special one requested that the Brazilian be let go permanently during the current summer transfer window and that a suitable offer be found to sell him as soon as possible, whether in a permanent deal or on loan with an obligatory purchase option, especially given the club's insistence on not sacrificing the player less than his market value, which is estimated at over 100 million euros. Sources confirmed that Mourinho studied the Vinícius file very carefully in collaboration with his assistant staff, analyzing the player's performance over the past 3 seasons as well as his behavior and discipline within the dressing room, and reached several conclusions that led him to this fateful decision. From a technical standpoint, the coach believes that Vinícius has not shown sufficient development in finishing attacks and that he relies heavily on individual dribbling that often leads to losing the ball in dangerous areas, especially in major matches. His defensive performance and tracking back to help cover the left back also do not meet the required level in Mourinho's strict defensive plans. The coach also believes that Vinícius's presence hinders the attacking harmony between Kylian Mbappé and the rest of the forward line, as the two compete for the same spaces and balls, which negatively affected the team's results last season. Additionally, the dressing room suffers from the Brazilian player's presence after numerous reports about his tense and isolated behavior, his failure to comply with previous coaches' instructions, and accusations of him leaking team secrets to the media. AS also revealed that Mourinho has proposed clear alternatives to compensate for Vinícius's departure. He intends to rely primarily on the trio Frenchman Kylian Mbappé on the left wing, Turkish player Arda Güler as the first alternative in the same position, and Spanish player Brahim Diaz, who can play in multiple attacking positions. Furthermore, Mourinho has requested the signing of a new heavyweight winger, placing Frenchman Michael Olise at the top of his demands list as the major attacking signing for the new season, which explains the club's recent interest in the French player and exploring the possibility of signing him in a separate deal from the Vitinha deal. It appears that Mourinho wants to build an entirely new attack, one that is more disciplined, effective, and cohesive, far from the individualism and showboating that Vinícius often displays. On the other hand, Real Madrid's management finds itself facing a very difficult and sensitive test. On one hand, they have granted Mourinho broad powers to make technical decisions and fully support his vision. On the other hand, Vinícius is considered one of the club's current most important icons, the most valuable player in market terms, and is beloved by a large segment of the fans. His departure could provoke anger and controversy, especially if a replacement of the same level is not signed, or if the Brazilian shows great performances with his new club. Perez also realizes that sacrificing Vinícius may be necessary for the stability of the new project, and that Mourinho's insistence on the player's departure must be respected, especially as the special one is known as a coach who does not compromise on his technical vision, no matter the challenges. A prime example being the departure of many stars during his previous stints with Chelsea, Inter Milan, Real Madrid, Manchester United, and Tottenham. Sources indicate that the Royal Club has already begun moving the Vinícius file, and the club's management has received numerous calls from Premier League clubs, most notably Manchester United, Chelsea, and Newcastle United, as well as Saudi Pro League clubs that could offer mythical amounts reaching 150 million euros or more, which would help the club finance its other deals. The coming week is expected to witness decisive developments in this file, especially after the official announcement of Mourinho taking over the task. Marca and AS conclude their reports by noting that José Mourinho is placing Vinícius as the first victim of the new Special One era, and that Mourinho wants to send a clear and strict message to the dressing room and all players that he is the one who decides who plays and who leaves, and that any player who does not adhere to his technical vision or tactical discipline will have no place on the team, no matter their name or market value. Will Mourinho succeed in convincing Real Madrid's management to sell Vinícius? Will the Brazilian leave the Royal Club this summer? Will his departure mark the beginning of a new era of discipline and titles under the leadership of the veteran Portuguese coach? The upcoming days alone will tell. But what is certain is that Real Madrid is facing a storm of radical changes, and Vinícius may be its first victim.